What's up guys, how's it going? In my last video I asked you what you would do if there was a zombie apocalypse. I told you to post in the comments down below with what kind of weapons you'd use, where you'd go, that type of thing. I said that if I liked your comment I'd feature it in my next video, so that is what I'm gonna do. Pretty much this whole video is just me going and reading through some of those comments and then giving some opinions on if I think it's a good idea or a bad idea. So let's just hop right into this. First comment is from Kristen Jerez. They said, I'm going to my ranch in South Texas and use my dad's weapons from his career as a Mexican Marine. They also said that they have melee weapons like baseball bats, machetes, katanas, and 6 months of food and water, enough for 5 people. Now that is a lot of food and a lot of water, especially for 5 people. So I have a pretty good feeling they would survive a zombie apocalypse, at least for a while. They would be one of, the people you'd want to go see if there was a zombie apocalypse. Moving on to the next comment. Mitchell Sherry says, I would try to get back to my house if I wasn't already there, gather all my supplies and my guns, and pack it all into my truck. Then I'd go pick up my best friend and start trying to make my way out of the city to the small farming community that my grandparents live in. That's the short and sweet of what I do. Now, I think that's a good idea because you don't want to stay in the city. Staying in the city is pretty dangerous because there's a lot of people in the city, which means there could be a lot of zombies in the city. Out in the country, there's not as many people. It's not as densely populated. They said they were going to a farm, and where there's a farm, there's normally food, so they could grow their own food. It's out in the country, so they can see around them because the country's not really crowded, so they could see zombies coming from a distance, which is great. So I think they'd survive, at least for a while. Probably longer than the people that stayed in the city. Moving on to the next comment. Lightning Storms Films writes, for the first 2 weeks I would stay in my house with all the bathtubs filled with water. No power means no water. Weapons of choice, his firearm would be an M1 Garand, his melee weapon would be a katana, and his sidearm would be a .44 Magnum. Now I asked him why no power meant no water, and he later commented that if you don't have power you can't pump water into your house. So it's a good idea to fill up all your bathtubs before the power goes out, so when it does go out you'll have all that water to live off of. Which made a lot of sense to me, and he sounds like a smart guy, so I'm guessing he would survive longer than me, because when it comes to zombies, I would probably die, because I don't have any weapons. Best I'd have would be a baseball bat, probably, and so I'd probably end up dying really fast. But he sounds like he knows what he's talking about, so I think he'd survive. Next comment is from Mono Lewis 04. He says, best bet is to look at the news, see their instructions, and do the opposite of what they say, because many people will be going to those secure locations, and that isn't a good idea. As for weapons, I'd go melee and try to avoid as many undead encounters as I can. Now it makes sense to get out of the city, and it makes sense to not follow the news because everyone's going to be doing the same thing. There's going to be a lot of traffic going to like safe houses and whatnot, and that's just a lot of people, and that would be a pretty much a buffet for a zombie, and that's not a good idea in my opinion. I would just hightail it to the country, to the mountains, by myself, with some supplies, maybe a couple of friends, and just wait it out there. I would not stay in the city, I would get out like he said. That's pretty much all the comments I have so far. Keep them coming. If you want to see if your comment made it into the next video, feel free to subscribe, or just keep checking back. I hope to hear from you, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.